Hey, what's going on out there, y'all? Are we really surprised? Keep it real. I honestly have gotten to the point now that when we have these leads, it's a matter of whether we're going to keep the lead, blow it in the last second, or blow it early. At least we blew it early. Oh, boy. How y'all doing out there? Merry Christmas to you. Just absolutely unbelievable. No, I'll take that back. It's not unbelievable. I'm going to sit here and try to fake outrage and fake like that was, oh my God, we were supposed to come back and win and blah, 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 blah. Folks, we've seen the Dallas game. We've seen the Chicago game. We've seen the Detroit game. We've seen a few years ago against New England. We've seen all these times. Folks, let's not pretend like we didn't know this wasn't going to happen. This is a team that does not know how to finish. We do not know. You can put Raheem Morris. You can put Dan Quinn. You could probably put Vince Lombardi back there in the back. Right now, this team is composed of something that does not allow us to complete the game. And it's something every week. Whether it's 1 week, it's all the defense fault. Next week, it's Matt's fault. Next week, it's this fault. Look, right now, we're not putting up a good team. We're not putting up a good product on the field. And it's about time that we just realize we are not there. Which there's no need to get upset, folks. I see some of y'all kind of going off, and that's fine. I understand we're upset, but we knew this. We're not we weren't a 4-9 team because we were being successful. We're a 4-9 team because we're not complete. We're a 4-9 team because we don't have consistency on both sides. 1 week is the defense. 1 week is the offense. This week is a little combination of both. When you think about what we saw in the first half, Matt Ryan on fire, almost 300 yards in the first half. Calvin Ridley lighting the world on fire, doing what we need to do. And then all of a sudden, that wall, what I call the Falcons wall. The Falcons wall that we have hit for the last 2 to 3 to 4 years. This is unbelievable. So I'm here to ask you guys, are you really shocked? Last week, Matt probably played the worst game of the year. You could argue he played one of his better games, better halves of the year early. But it's inconsistency. You can't be 4-10 and look at redeeming qualities. I don't care that Younghoe Koo is leading the league in scoring. I don't care that he broke Matt Bryant's record. I don't care that Matt Ryan is the fastest person to 40,000 yards or whatever it is that Peyton Manning did. None of that makes any difference when you lose a game after being up 17 at halftime. At what point do we have to drive this home, folks? This change was needed. This shakeup is needed. And now all of you that's talking about the Raheem Morris, it was sweet, it was nice, it was great for the first couple of games that he rallied us to a couple of wins. But at the end of the day, Raheem was part of the core that was losing in the last seconds. Folks were acting like he wasn't a part of that. He was a part of that. And Matt Ryan. Again, no one's going to take away Matt Ryan's place in this franchise. He is the best quarterback in this franchise, period. End of story. Cut and dry. But since 2017, he has given us nothing. I'll argue and say 2018, he did a little bit better. But from a winning standpoint, you're the quarterback. Fair or unfair, when you win, you get all the accolades. When you lose, you get dumped on. And right now, when you have 3 years in a row, when you are losing, the spotlight is on you. And I got news for y'all, folks. Matt's going to be here next year. Barring some financial miracle, Matt Ryan's going to be here. That's not to say we can't bring in the future and start figuring out how to start weaving him in. Part of hiring this general manager is whoever this general manager that we're going to hire, he's going to have to figure out how to do this with scraps. Because you're paying 1/3 of your salary to 2 guys who right now, one can't stay on the field, and one, when he's on the field, is inconsistent. He is consistently inconsistent. Number 2 for the Falcons is consistently inconsistent. How could you expect you to have a 130+ rating in the first half, and in the second half, you can barely get a pass down the field? At some point, we have, as fans, have to get real about this. That doesn't make you less than a fan if you don't root for Matt. I root for anybody who's in a Falcon uniform. But at some point, we have to be real with ourselves and realize that it's over. The Matt Ryan era is over. Do I realize the defense had a big part in losing that game? Absolutely. But I'm also looking at the point that Matt Ryan has to be able to get one of those drives, aside of the one coming out of halftime. He has to be able to drive the ball down the field and get another first down. How many 3-and-outs we had? Three 3-and-outs? 3 or 4 in the second half. You must do better. That doesn't make me less of a fan to say Matt Ryan's days are numbered. That does not make us less than fans. Now, and also for you delusional fans that I was looking at all week, let's play Ben Kirk. Let's play Ben Kirk. He'll get a chance. Ben Kirk can't even get out of the practice squad. Ben Kirk was a journeyman who barely could stay on a team. And we're acting like he's going to be the next answer. If he was the next answer, he'd be the backup quarterback. We wouldn't be having a 40-year-old backup quarterback. Stop with the nonsense. All I want for Christmas is a good GM. That's it. Because a good GM is going to find the right coach. The right coach is going to, along with the GM, find the right quarterback to take us into the next phase of Atlanta Falcons history. The phase with Matt Ryan, the Thomas Dimitroff phase, is over. And today couldn't have been a more perfect example. Because the right quarterback would have found a way to extend those drives and get a couple of first downs and wear down this Tampa Bay defense. But we didn't. We have to start looking in the mirror, folks. That day is over with. Love me some Falcons. And all of you love the Falcons. But we gotta turn the page. And Julio on the sideline coaching is a joke. If I wanted a $22 million coach, I'd go down to Alabama and get Nick Saban to come in here. Look at Julio with his mentorship. Forget his mentorship. I need him on the field. Those are the things that bother me. And I shouldn't be yelling. It's a Merry Christmas show. Merry Christmas, everybody, because we're not going to talk to y'all before Friday. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Wish the Falcons could have given us a better Christmas gift, but they couldn't. 31-27 is the final. Tom Brady, again, I know it's so easy to replay blah, blah, 28-3, Tom Brady, ha, 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 yeah. Falcons fans are so sick and tired of that it's not funny. I get it. Nationally, you're going to see it on ESPN. Tom Brady does it against the Falcons. Just stop it. The Falcons are not good. The difference between the team and the Super Bowl is that was a really good team in the Super Bowl that we had. This team is a 4-9 team, and frankly, it would have been embarrassing for them to lose that game. Tampa Bay showed up when they should have. Tom Brady woke up when he should have. And we're not a good team. We're really not. That Raiders game was as smoke and mirrors. This is not a good team, folks. But that being said, I appreciate everybody chiming in. I'm trying to catch up with a couple of these comments. I'm going to catch a few of you, and after we do a couple of them, I'm going to take a couple of calls. Joseph Evans, what's up, brother? Says simply have to make plays at crunch time. Rusty says, when the new regime comes in, can we finally get rid of Rise Up? Let me tell y'all something about a slogan. Listen, if y'all hung up on a freaking slogan, that's pretty stupid. There's people that still saying Dirty Birds, and that was back in the 90s. In the 90s when we went to the Super Bowl, but we still say it. Don't worry about the words. If you win, everybody will be Dirty Birding, rising up, and shoot, you might even, if our defense get good, you might hear Grits Blitz come out. Who cares what your slogan says? Win the game. Don't get stuck on the slogan. So what? We still say rise up. What difference does it make? You know what I want to say? I want to say Falcons win. How about we make that the slogan? Rise up ain't got nothing to do with it. That's mental. If y'all that mental much, then whatever. It's ridiculous that we even think about that. Robert says, hey, Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, we coming. No, we're not, because we can't lose. There's no way for us to be 0 whatever the Jets are and 1 in whatever Jacksonville are. Those two are gone. And stop thinking that just because we don't get Trevor Lawrence, who was really good last night, and Justin Fields, who looks subpar, and not saying that he won't have good and bad games, but we're not going to get those guys. But that doesn't mean that the next GM on this team can pick a quarterback in the first or second round that could come and lead this team into the next era of Falcons. Dude, my son and I went over it, and I want y'all to go back and look. Aside of quarterbacks named Manning, and go look at it. Aside of quarterbacks named Manning that were picked number 1 overall, name the last number 1 overall quarterback, not named Manning, to win a Super Bowl. I'll wait. Robert says Matt Ryan isn't clutch anymore. He's not. Perry, what's going on? Nah, not shocked. Getting ready for the draft. Gregory, how you doing? Say Stephen Fax, I want a W. We have a lot of work to do. We had a lot of work to do. We're setting it up for this GM. It is a lot. I'm gonna switch over here to the Atlanta Bird game. How y'all doing? Thank y'all for coming on. Cam, on behalf of Raheem, he was regulated to call defense plays on third down while he was a part of this defense staff. He rarely called plays. Yeah, and Raheem, as great as it looked when he rallied the team to win a few games after Dan Quinn left, that was good for the morale for a couple of seconds, but hey, we've moved on. Brother Jarius, how you doing? Jarius says 37 yards rushing today, which brings the 3 and outs. Falcons fan motto, wait till next year. Absolutely, Jarius. I don't know how we can get better on that. Going down here is Michael Stewart. Plus, we don't know how to take the ball and run out the clock if you're up 24-7. in the third quarter. There's no reason to have the other team get the ball and score 21 in one quarter after doing virtually nothing in the first half. Problem with that, Michael, is that we don't have a running game. Ito Smith is a journeyman at best. Same thing for Brian Hill. Todd Gurley, we rolled the dice. We rolled the dice and hoped that he would come up with some semblance of a decent season. That did not work out. And when those things happen, folks, reality hits you in the face. Sean Parr said Matt must go along with Julio. And listen, in my mind, Sean, I'm saying the same thing. The problem is, folks, as much as y'all want to sit here and try to pretend like it's as easy as just cutting guys, it's not that easy. It's a good chance that Matt Ryan, barring some miraculous deal that some team will throw in our face, is probably a good chance that Matt will be here. And even if Matt were to get traded, folks, we're still going to owe him a ton of money. So that means we're not going to be able to go out and get free agents like we want to. We're going to have a show pretty soon, and I hope to hook up with Tidy and a couple other guys who really they help this group talk about the salary cap and the ramifications. I'm looking at some of these Madden football trades that y'all talking about. Let's ask the Jets to trade Matt Ryan, and they can give us their number one pick. Okay, the Jets, who are 0 and whatever, are going to trade for a 36-year-old, $35 million a year quarterback who can barely get out of his way and give away the number one pick in the draft just to appease us as Falcon fans. Folks, it doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. You're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. You're not going to get Justin Fields. We're probably going to have Matt Ryan on this roster. Doesn't mean he's going to start, but we're going to have Matt Ryan on this roster because we cannot let him go this year. I think after next year, you have a couple of options where the dead cap doesn't hit you as much, but there is a really good chance that Matt will be here. Does that mean I'm advocating for Matt Ryan to be our starting quarterback? Of course not. I see what's going on. I'm looking at the game. I see that Matt is not the quarterback he was. I saw what he did in the first half, and I was happy. But I also saw what he did in the second half, which is indicative of more of what he's been doing in 2020, which is nothing. And the 4-10 record will show you that he's doing nothing. So all this fantasy Jets trade for Matt, or let's trade Julio for 2 first-round picks. Now, I will say this. I can see a team trading for Julio for possibly a first-rounder if you're one of those teams that is a receiver away from doing it. I think Julio, if he can stay healthy, which is a big if he can stay healthy where he can take a team possibly over the top. I don't know who that team is right off the top of my head, but it can't be a winning team. I mean, I want a team that's probably suffering to take him off our hands so we could at least get some top 10 picks that are, down a little bit. Tidy says, I agree. Worrying about a slogan is meritless. It's marketing and promotion. And that's my thing. I'm like, dude, what? I've seen that argument here. Who cares about a slogan? That's ridiculous. Daniel comes on and says, refs won the game for them. LOL denying we should have had the bell back. Yeah, it's kind of funny. But remember, y'all, when you start losing games, folks, referees watch. Referees know who the teams are. Who do you think they're going to give the benefit of the doubt? 6-time world champion Tom Brady, or going into the sunset of his career, Matt Ryan, which should be for Tom Brady. But every time, Tom Brady will get the benefit of the doubt on pass interference call. The one call that they double dipped on AJ with the face mask and the pass interference, just that right there. The play on the punt return, which is BS. The guy blocked in the back, and even the rules guy came out and said they should have picked up the flag for hitting him because the guy pushed him into the runner. I think that was some referees scared to go back and look at their rating and say, oh, you missed a helmet to helmet pass. Just ridiculous. Brigida Johnson starting to miss when the Falcons were blacked out on TV. That's horrible. Lisa says, I'm ready to move on past this current chapter. We suffered long enough. We consistently have been a first half team. Yeah, it's time to move on. It really is. It really is time. Andre, get Louis Riddick up in here as GM. Who do you want, brother? Andre, I really have been tooting the horn for Riddick. I do see they interviewed Rick Smith as well, along with the brother Robinson from here. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The way I feel right now, even though I know there are redeemable people in this organization, I don't want anybody who was part of putting this team together over the last 3, 4, 5 years on this team. You have to get fresh scouting. You have to get fresh GMs on this team. Dimitroff was still in a 2008 to 2012 mode. When we got Matt Ryan was the prototypical quarterback that everybody was getting. And it looked great in 2016, looked great the first few years he got here, but now we've evolved into a different NFL. You see the type of quarterback winning, and I'm not talking about the color of his skin or anything like that. You're talking about athletic quarterbacks. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes. You're talking about Josh Allen, who might be the most underrated player in the NFL. Those are the type of guys that I'm talking about when you're looking at this draft. Trevor Lawrence, for I don't know, Trevor Lawrence got some wheels, folks. Y'all better start looking at this film. Zach Wilson out there at BYU, that cat got some wheels. Justin Fields has some wheels. You got to find these guys that not necessarily are going to get 100 yards rushing a game, but we need folks that can get out of the pocket and are used to throwing the ball on the run. When we saw Aaron Rodgers do it years ago, we were saying, wow, this is the next type of quarterback. And now we see with Mahomes, with Allen, Lamar Jackson is not there yet. I think Lamar Jackson is still an athlete playing quarterback to me. I don't think he's that great of a thrower. I think when he has the ball in his hands, he's the best athlete on the field who has the ball, but I still don't think he's quite the great quarterback that everybody thinks he is. I love all these comments, and I apologize that I can't get all of them, but I'm trying my best to go down. Quentin says, same Matt Ryan won't win with him. Dale Murphy in a Falcons uniform until. Boy, you hit me hard with the Dale Murphy stuff. Dale Murphy was pretty good and a totally different story. Dale Murphy was a great player and should be in the Hall of Fame. He played on some of the most horrendous teams. Different to that Dale Murphy individually always came up and did what he had to do. He was a really good player. Horrible analogy, but I think I know where you're coming from when you say that. Lisa, so what position do we take in the first round? I don't see us taking a quarterback. What do you think? I think we can take a quarterback depending on what the GM wants. If the GM goes up and sees that this is the quarterback that's going to take us into the next level, why not? Why not take a Trey Lance? Why not? If you feel like you're going to bring in a coaching staff that is able to take that young man, maybe not start game 1, maybe not start game 5, but maybe get him. Listen, as much as I know coming off the game in a horrible second half, we don't want to talk about this, but you say what you want to say. Matt Ryan is a professional quarterback. He's been in the league 13 years, missed 4 games. For the most part, has been durable. He's on the sunset of his career. He is declining, but he is a professional quarterback. You can do better. You can't do much better than having somebody at least to look at to say, this is how you lead a team. I'm not saying take his habits with him, but I'm saying this is how you lead the team. Don't look at his habits, but look how he leads a team. Look how he tries to lead. Some of you can talk all the junk you want to talk, but at the same time, you can't deny that he is a professional quarterback. Robert Chris says, all jokes aside, this team needs a GM who could work this money and a coaching staff. You got to get a capologist in here, dude. You have to get somebody that's able to work with these salaries. And I got news for y'all, too. It's going to be some folks that might be leaving. I don't think it's a secret that, you're going to let Matt go. You're going to let Neil. That's a tough call. You're probably going to have to let Neil go because his agents say injury or not. I'm going to have to save money on this team. This team is going to be the draft. You're probably going to see 5 to 6 players on this draft playing a lot of minutes and a lot of time on this field because you cannot afford to keep all these double-digit million-dollar folks on the field. Maybe Grady on the defense and Ridley on the offense, but everybody else pretty much they're going to be gone. Ridley's still on his rookie contract, so I know he'll definitely be here. Grady, even though we're paying him a lot of money, at least he's showing up. Debo has shown flashes this year. I wish I had a little bit more of him. But as far as the big money people, those are the only 2. Ricardo Allen, maybe time to hit the door. Dante Fowler, starting to look like, was that the right move? And this is not to say under a different scheme, these guys would not be able to prosper. But right now, we're at a point where we need somebody that can come in here and retool this team right now. And when I say retool, that probably means Matt is not going to be the guy who's going to be leading us into the future as our quarterback. He might be on the roster, folks, so don't get ticked off. Don't get mad if next year, 2021, the starting quarterback for the year would be Matt Ryan. But as long as the GM has his replacement on the sideline, I'm good. Tony Jackson said, yeah, let's talk college football. I am going to talk college football a little bit. I disagree with the 4 folks that Kane says bring back tech. I disagree with the 4 teams. Alabama, I agree with. Clemson, I agree with. The Notre Dame thing is kind of interesting. I guess you could argue that Notre Dame beat Clemson, but you have to put an asterisk by the game they won with Trevor Lawrence sitting on the sideline and also a couple of defensive players that they were missing. And you can argue that, is Notre Dame really one of the top 4 teams? I would even argue to say Texas A&M, as much as they're trying to talk junk about it, Texas A&M, you can't get blown out like that. And you can't get blown out like that and still try to claim a top 4. And last but not least, my most controversial pick is Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State should be a top 4 team. Dude, there should have been a minimum of 8 games that you play in order for you to be in the top 4. Does that open the door up for Cincinnati? Yes. Does that open the door up for Oklahoma? Yes. Because at least they played a good amount of games. Ohio State right now is really living off reputation. And you could argue the way they played against Indiana in the end, yes, they won. The way they played against Northwestern in the end, yes, they won. But do you honestly think if they played a full 10-game schedule, it would come out like that the whole 10 games? I don't know. I don't know. But the problem is I don't know. You have to let those guys play at least 8 games. At least. I mean, if you're going to just play 4 or 5 games and say, oh, well, just go on and give it to them. They look like they're the best. I don't think that's fair. So that's my college take. Here we go. Riddick or Smith comes in as GM. That's what Jimmy says. Daniel says John Harris would ruin our team even worse because he's in his feelings too much. Yeah, listen, John Harris, as much as flack as we always want to give him, I tell you what, my brother is is accurate on a lot of the things he says about Matt Ryan. Overkill, yes, but he's pretty accurate about a lot of the things he says about Matt. Juan, the new coach and GM will have his hands full trying to decide the route they want to go in this draft. It's a too heavy quarterback draft. Are we waiting until Matt's time is up, or are we drafting his replacement now? Defensively, we need to shore up the defensive line to support our outstanding linebacker core and start filling out our secondary. Juan, I think you have to find a quarterback now. This league is built around finding the next guy to lead your team. I think we've seen enough over the last 3 seasons to say that Matt Ryan is probably not going to be the quarterback of your future. Does he have flashes like he did in the first half? Absolutely. When they're giving him a little time, he actually got outside the pocket a little bit, played a redeemable game. Wasn't horrible in the second half. Wasn't horrific, but he still has to complete plays, folks. He's got to complete these plays. He's not doing it. So you do look out for your future now. If you have a GM and a GM comes in and lays it out on the table and say, Mr. Blank, this is my plan. There's this guy right here. He's like the 4th rated or 5th rated quarterback, but I think I can get a quarterback for him. And I can get a coach for him that can teach him this scheme, and I will make this scheme work here in Atlanta. What do we have to lose? Dirk Cutter won't be here to teach him, thank God. So I'll take anybody at this point. Rusty says we need to find the right GM and the head coach. Everything else will fall in place. But yeah, I seen the guy yesterday who wanted to trade the Jags, Julio, for their first round. Exactly. Ridiculous. Coach Ray, what's going on? We need John Harris on the coaching staff meeting. Now, I'll draw the line there. John could get some Gatorade for me or something like that. I'll let him get some Gatorade. Or maybe go and deflate some balls maybe for Tom Brady or something like that. I ain't keeping him. I ain't bringing him nowhere near my team. John Harris says, can't get worse than this when babysitting got us this 4-12 record. To keep doing the same stuff, expecting different results is the definition of insanity. And you were correct. Terrence, no way Ohio State should be in. I agree with you, sir. I agree. Michael said, yes, let's be honest. Let's look at how the Seahawks look. Their defense is horrible. Same with the Packers, but they have Aaron Rodgers and Wilson making plays. And more importantly, Michael, extending plays. We need a quarterback that extend plays. When you look at the Buffaloes of the world, and more importantly, Buffalo before they got Stefon Diggs. Now, Stefon Diggs is taking them to another level. But those quarterbacks that can extend the play, Tua down in my, and I'm not trying to say they've arrived. None of these guys that I'm talking about have arrived. Tua hasn't arrived yet. Kyler Murray hasn't arrived yet. Josh Allen hasn't arrived yet. But those are quarterbacks that you see in 2 or 3 years. Those are going to be the you know how we always talk about elite. Those are going to be the quarterbacks 4 years from now. We're going to look back and say, oh, you see how they started? You see how they, kind of built their way into this type of quarterback? I tell you right now, if you told me I could get a clone of Josh Allen right now, you sign me up. Sign me up for it right now. To me, he's probably the quarterback that you don't hear in the regular Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Breeze, Brady conversation. But that guy right there, for some reason, there's something about him that makes me feel like, man, I think he's the next one. I think he has the potential to be the next one. Kivia says, 2nd round pick and a couple of players for Washington football team, Haskins. Yeah, I'll pass. I'll pass on Haskins. That's okay. No problem. Tony says Ohio State should not be there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Ohio State, again, I think especially this year, you have to reward those teams that put their team out there the whole year. And I understand it's not your fault that, COVID hit your team and everything like that. I get it. But at the same time, you can't punish the teams. I was about to say like Cincinnati. I'm not trying to sell you that Cincinnati is one of the best teams ever, but I am saying at least they played a full schedule of games. You have to reward that this year. You can't just arbitrarily say, oh, yeah, 6 games. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Sean says, don't be fooled with Josh Allen. He's erratic with his decision making under pressure. Listen to what I said, Sean. He hasn't arrived yet. He has qualities that 2 to 3 years from now, he's going to shake some of that stuff. Aaron Rodgers was the same way. He made dumb mistakes early on. When he started learning to be patient and start learning that he could throw the 40-yard down the field every time like he did his first couple of years, go look. Then he became a better quarterback. I'm not fooled at all. Josh Allen is a nice quarterback. Don't be fooled. Yeah, I'm telling you. Andre says, taking a grain of salt, we are projected to take Fields as our first pick. Listen, the problem is Jacksonville just lost a game. They're 1-12, right? 1-13. There's no way we're going to be able to get into the top 2. There's no way that the Jets nor Jacksonville are giving up one of those picks. There's no way the Jets are not going to try to take Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. So we're not going to do it. David said, we're enticing enough job because of our cap situation. And that's a good point. There are a lot of GMs that may say, hey, you know what? That Houston job looks mighty good. You got Deshaun Watson, who, not to his own fault, kind of slipped under the radar a little bit. Hasn't played that great. Now, they took away his greatest asset, which has to be accounted for. But at the same time, Houston has some pieces there that if I were a GM and I don't know their salary cap situation, I know that's part of the reason they got rid of D-Hop, because D-Hop wanted to get paid. But Bill O'Brien screwed their whole team chemistry up. So, but whoever goes there, at least you have a Deshaun Watson to start with. Toddy, nobody has us projected to draft here. I was about to say, Toddy, I don't even know. I haven't seen that. So maybe Andre, I don't know where you, I don't know, Andre. I know he usually looks at some pretty good stuff. I don't know, but I don't see him. Perry says, we're top 5 in the draft now after today. And again, you have to weigh out too as a GM. We need some defense. We need somebody on the other side of AJ. And for all of you that were making AJ Dion it a week or two ago, you saw today, slow down. Let the young man finish his rookie year. Let him develop a little bit. He's going to be fine because he looked bad on a lot of plays today. Granted, he was playing against one of the top 5 wide receivers in the game, but slow down. He is much better than I thought he was going to be. I will give you that. The day we drafted, I was one of the first people getting ready to throw a pillow at the TV and say, what are they doing? AJ has turned into a very valuable person back there in the secondary. Arguably the best cornerback we have right now. So do we go cornerback? Do we look at Surtain from Alabama? Do we go for a DN? And I'm trying to think of the young man's name that I just saw on there. I think if you're a GM and you look at this team and I think one of the first 2 picks has to be quarterback. You have to start the future now. If you're a GM that's going to come in here and say, I can take Matt Ryan and make him a winner these last 2 years of his twilight career. No, I don't want that GM in here. I want the GM that says, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to put Matt Ryan up to bat, let somebody push him hard. And then in the middle of the season or at the appropriate time, I'm going to let my young quarterback get in the game. That's what I'm going to do. Jimmy says Lance or Wilson are better choices if you get a coach like Bieniemy, the ball due to the system they run. That's what I'm saying. You got to get somebody in here who knows what to do with a quarterback skills. Just because Lawrence and Fields are 1 and 2 does not necessarily mean that they're automatically going to be the next Tom Brady. And I have seen nobody answer the question yet of aside of the two Manning brothers, who's the last overall number 1 to win a Super Bowl. And it's a ways back. So that just goes to show you don't have to have the number 1 overall pick to win the Super Bowl. And really, you don't even have to have a top 10 quarterback to win the Super Bowl. It's nice. But you find the quarterback that fits the scheme that you bring in. Right now, whoever the GM for the Atlanta Falcons, which I'm pretty sure they'll be hiring pretty soon, whoever that is, he needs to find a coach that's going to bring a system in here that's going to win. That's what you do. Kyle Trask is at 5, would be fine with me. I'm not completely sold on Trask. I think he's nice. I don't know about is he top 5 to me. I think he's nice. I do think he's nice. I'd rather take a project that you can get possibly a little bit later or maybe in the second round. Somebody that people kind of sleep on. Because when you really look at the draft, start looking at the top 10 and really see who needs quarterbacks. A lot of people have already switched. There aren't a lot of 36-year-old quarterbacks in the league. 3 of them are in the NFC South. Take the NFC South out of the equation. Rivers up in Indy. My man in Pittsburgh, Big Ben. I'm trying to see who else. I mean, Rodgers. But most of the teams have already flipped that around. They've gotten younger. You look at the AFC East, they flipped it all totally. The Jets can't get old because none of their quarterbacks work out. But you need to go to the next page. So I mean, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. So Russ said one thing we're going to miss about MR2 is his durability. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he is very durable. So I just went on. I just wanted to rant. I know part of me really wanted to get into this Saints-Chiefs game, so I really want to watch that. If I don't get a chance to talk to y'all, Merry Christmas. I know I've seen a lot of stuff on a lot of y'all's pages and everything like that. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you all enjoy the holidays. Have a great time with family. Please, if you go out and you go in parties and things like that, y'all be safe, man. We want to have this situation a lot different than we did this year. So we can go back to the game. I'm so ready to go back to the stadium. It's not even funny. Win or lose, I love my birds, and I want to go be able to see them next year. So listen, y'all take care. We're going to have plenty of time to chop it up about what this team is going to do in the future. Maybe we'll do a little bit this week. I know everybody's on holiday and stuff like that. Maybe we'll chat a little bit down the line. Until then, y'all take care, man. And everybody, again, if I don't see you, happy holidays. If I talk to you later on, we'll chop it up later this week. Y'all be cool. Peace.